Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. You'll get 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, enjoy access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with the welcome offer of 150,000 points, your business can soar to all new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum, built for business by American Express.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/SBO. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, so let's dive into this deep dive you requested about landing that dream job. You sent over some pretty cool stuff, actually, YouTube videos, even some TikTok rants from people in HR, like telling their secrets and things like that, and some stuff on AI, like how people are using AI to make better resumes. Really interesting stuff. Should be a good deep dive.
Yeah, it's like you're interested in how tech is, like, changing the job search, huh? I mean, it's definitely true. Things are way more data-driven these days. People got to be more tech-savvy if they want to stand out.
For sure. And it's kind of overwhelming, right? Like, there's so much advice out there. But one thing I keep seeing everywhere is, like, personalization. Forget those generic applications. Everyone's saying you got to tailor your resume and cover letter to each specific job.
Yeah, absolutely. One source even said, like, don't just use the same keywords. You got to, like, mirror the priority those keywords have in the job description. Like, say, project management is mentioned 3 times and communication only once. Well, guess which skill you should put first on your resume?
Right. It's like you're speaking their language from the start.
Exactly. And it's not just keywords either. Someone was talking about this AI tool. It analyzed their resume against, like, tons of job descriptions, and it showed them, like, missing keywords and skills would make them more competitive.
Yeah.
They even found some transferable skills they didn't even think to highlight before.
Wow, that's wild. And actually, that reminds me, we have some sources on AI too, specifically ChatGPT, and like how it can help you make a resume that's ATS friendly.
Oh yeah, the applicant tracking system. Yeah, lots of big companies use those systems to filter resumes. They look for keywords, formatting, all that stuff. So it's really important to, like, understand how those systems work. Got to optimize your resume accordingly.
I saw one person even had ChatGPT like create a whole new resume for them.
Yeah.
Like from scratch, using their old resume as like the foundation. And AI building your resume, can you imagine?
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, AI is a tool. It's not going to replace your own judgment. Always review and edit what it spits out. Make sure it reflects you accurately, your skills, your experience. You got to make sure it captures your own voice.
Totally. Yeah. It's not about having like a robot resume. You got to use these tools to your advantage, but still showcase what makes you unique.
Exactly. Showcase your best self, right? That reminds me, there's some interesting stuff on using ChatGPT for interview prep too. Like having an AI coach grill you with potential questions. Can you imagine?
Yeah, one person even built what they called a job toolbox, like prepped answers for all those common interview questions, almost like cheat sheets. But wouldn't that like make you sound kind of robotic,
Yeah, I mean, having those responses ready could be helpful, but one person cautioned against sounding too rehearsed. They said, focus on the underlying principles behind those answers, and then, like, adapt them to the specific question being asked. It's more about feeling prepared and confident than, like, reciting a script.
So use AI as a starting point, but don't let it take over, right? You still got to be able to think on your feet and, be yourself.
Exactly. Authenticity is key, always. One person put it really well. They said, imagine you're at a party and someone asks you about your work. You wouldn't pull out a pre-written speech, right? You just have a natural conversation and let your enthusiasm show. Same principle applies to interviews.
That's a great point. Okay, so we talked about tech for resumes, tech for interviews. What about like the timing of your application? Is there like a strategic way to do that?
Actually, yeah. A few sources mention that Monday and Tuesday mornings are like prime time for applying. Apparently, recruiters are fresh then, more focused. Your application's more likely to get noticed.
So no hitting send on Friday afternoon when everyone's checked out.
Exactly. And it's not just when you apply, it's how you manage your time all week, Use those midweek days to recharge, focus on networking, maybe work on a side project for your portfolio.
Good advice. Speaking of making an impact, One person went all out and created like a career accomplishments presentation. It was way more than just a resume. It was like visually showcasing their achievements and aligning them with the company's values.
That's pretty bold, but it can be super effective. One person even said their presentation helped them land a job, even though they didn't have all the required experience. The company was just so impressed with their passion and how they presented their accomplishments. They didn't even care about the lack of experience.
Wow, talk about making a good first impression. Like, how do you even make something like that? It seems kind of intimidating.
Well, one person said, start by, identifying your key achievements and quantify them whenever possible. Like, instead of saying managed a team of 5, say led a team of 5 to exceed sales targets by 15%.
Yeah, show the impact you made, not just your responsibilities.
Exactly. Think of it as a visual story of your career, highlighting your achievements, showing the value you bring, and of course, tailor it to the company and role you're targeting.
Sounds like a lot of work, but it could really pay off.
Definitely. It's about going that extra mile, show initiative, show creativity. Those are things companies really want.
Okay, we've got a ton more to talk about, but let's take a little pause here for now.
Yeah, this is a great start, though. We've got some solid strategies here, using technology, personalizing your approach, showcasing your accomplishments. Remember, the job search is a journey. It's all about finding the right fit for you.
Right, finding the right fit.
Okay, so picking up where we left off, let's talk about networking, because it's mentioned a lot in these sources you sent, but it needs more than just a quick mention. You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah. Networking is definitely still important, but maybe how we do it needs to change. What are some of the more innovative strategies you've seen?
Well, someone talked about using LinkedIn to connect with people at their target companies, even reaching out to hiring managers directly, which is pretty bold.
Right.
But hey, it can work, especially if you show a real interest in the company and the role you want.
Right. So don't just send a generic connection request. You got to do your research, write a personalized message, highlight your skills, your experience, and explain why you're reaching out.
Exactly. And someone else mentioned going to industry events and conferences, but not just to collect business cards,
Yeah.
Actually engage in conversations, build real relationships.
There was this one story that really stuck with me. Someone was at a conference and they started talking to this person who wasn't even in their field, but they connected on a personal level. And that person ended up introducing them to someone who became their mentor and helped them get their dream job.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That just shows you networking isn't just about transactions, it's about making real connections, because you never know what opportunities might come from them.
Yeah, it's not about being a master networker. It's about being a master connector, building those relationships, offering help when you can, and just being open to possibilities.
Exactly. Be a giver, not just a taker. Offer to help others in your network. Share your knowledge. Be supportive. That stuff comes back to you big time.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Talk about the interview process itself, because that seems to be a big focus in what you sent. Any standout tips or strategies that jumped out at you?
Yeah, one thing that kept coming up was the power of storytelling in interviews. It's not just about listing your skills. It's about weaving them into narratives, showing your personality, your problem-solving skills, the impact you made in your past roles.
So instead of saying, I'm proficient in Excel, you'd tell a story about a time you used Excel to solve a problem or something.
Exactly. Highlight the outcome, the positive impact. Someone else mentioned practicing their answers to, those behavioral questions, using the STAR method. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I think so. Remind me.
It stands for situation, task, action, result. It's a framework for giving structured, concise answers.
Like a mental roadmap for answering those tell me about a time when questions, right?
Exactly. But you got to avoid sounding too rehearsed. Like one person said, focus on the principles behind the answers and adapt them to the specific question. It's about showing your thought process, not just reciting a script.
Yeah, you got to be prepared, but also present in the moment, like having a real conversation with the interviewer.
Totally. Authenticity is key. One person said they were super nervous before an interview, but they took a minute to breathe, reminded themselves of their accomplishments, and just tried to be themselves. And it turned out to be one of their best interviews ever. And they got the job.
That's a good reminder. It's okay to be nervous. We're all human, right? It's how you channel that energy, turn it into something positive.
For sure. And speaking of authenticity, someone shared this story about being asked a question they didn't know the answer to. And instead of trying to make something up, they just admitted they didn't know, but they said they were eager to learn,
Oh, interesting. What happened?
The interviewer was impressed. They said it showed a growth mindset, which was something they valued. And guess what? They got the job.
Wow, so honesty really is the best policy, even when it's tough.
Absolutely. Better to be upfront than to try to fake it and, like, lose credibility.
Okay, so we talked about storytelling, behavioral questions, authenticity. What about asking questions during the interview? Any tips on how to, like, make a good impression with your questions?
Yeah, one person said, don't just ask us generic questions, Ask things that show you've done your research on the company, the industry, show you're genuinely interested in the role.
So, like, instead of what's the company culture like, you'd ask something more specific, like, I read about your sustainability initiative. Can you tell me more about that?
Exactly. Someone else said, prepare questions beforehand, but also be ready to ask follow-up questions based on what the interviewer says. It shows you're listening, you're engaged.
It's like turning the interview into a dialogue, not just a Q&A.
Exactly. And another person said, ask questions that show you understand the company's challenges and how your skills can help solve those challenges.
So it's not just about showing you did your research, it's about showing you've thought about how you can contribute.
Exactly. Demonstrate your value. Position yourself as a problem solver.
Makes sense. Okay, we've talked a lot about impressing employers, but what about when things don't go your way, How do you handle rejection and stay motivated?
Yeah, that's tough. One person said they started tracking like their application to interview ratio and their interview to offer ratio to see where they were falling short,
Oh, interesting. So, like, if they were getting interviews but no offers, maybe they needed to work on their interview skills. Or if they weren't even getting interviews, maybe their resume needed work.
Exactly. Analyze the data, see where you need to focus your efforts.
I like that, turning rejection into a learning experience.
Another thing is, remember, rejection isn't always personal. There are so many factors that go into hiring decisions. Don't take it personally. Just keep trying.
Like they say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. And even if you don't get the job, every interview is practice.
Yeah.
You refine your approach, gain experience.
One person said they got rejected from a job they really wanted and they were crushed, but they used the feedback they got to, like, identify areas to improve, and they kept working on those skills and eventually landed an even better job at a company that was a better fit.
That's awesome. Turning rejection into a positive thing, that's the key.
So it's not about avoiding rejection, it's about how you respond to it.
Precisely. It's a stepping stone, not a roadblock.
Now, speaking of data and stuff, someone mentioned they had more success with job openings that were, like, brand new.
Yeah, that makes sense. Applying early means you stand out more. Your application gets seen before they're flooded with resumes.
They said they set up job alerts and, like, every day they'd apply for jobs that were posted in the last 24 hours.
Smart. It's a proactive approach, being the early bird,
But what if you don't have all the required skills or experience listed in the job description? Should you still apply?
Honestly, one person said, don't get too hung up on the requirements section. Since a lot of those are like wish lists. Companies are often willing to train the right person.
So don't count yourself out before you even try.
Exactly. If you're passionate about it and you have the core skills, go for it.
Okay, let's get into some specifics about resumes. Because that's your first impression. Gotta make it count.
Totally. One person was really emphasizing using an ATS-friendly format.
Can you explain what that is for those who might not know?
Sure. ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System. It's software a lot of companies use to manage hiring. It basically filters resumes, scans for keywords, formatting, all that, to find people who meet the basic requirements.
So if your resume isn't formatted right or doesn't have the right keywords, it might never even get seen by a human.
Exactly. So you got to understand how those systems work and optimize your resume for them.
So what are some, like, practical tips for doing that?
Well, one person said, keep the layout simple and clean. No fancy fonts, no crazy graphics. Stick to a standard format that the ATS can read easily.
Got it. So no Comic Sans.
Right. Keep it basic, easy to read for both humans and machines.
Someone else recommended using, like, a resume builder tool.
Oh, yeah. Those can be really helpful, especially if you're not a design whiz or you're short on time. They have templates, formatting options, all that.
And some of them have, like, keyword optimization features, grammar checks, all that good stuff.
Exactly. Helps you create a polished, professional resume that'll make a good first impression.
Okay, so we talked about format. What about the actual content of the resume?
Well, the key is to tailor it to the specific job you're applying for. Start by reading the job description carefully, see what skills and experience they're looking for.
One person said they, like, mirror the language and keywords from the job description throughout their resume.
That's smart. It
Yeah.
shows you understand what they're looking for, and it helps your resume get past those ATS systems.
Yeah, it shows you've put thought into it, that you're a good fit.
Exactly. And instead of just listing responsibilities, focus on achievements. Show the impact you made, the results you achieved.
Use numbers, metrics, whenever possible.
Yeah, numbers speak louder than words. They make your accomplishments more concrete.
Someone else mentioned using like action verbs to make their resume more dynamic.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Action verbs convey energy, initiative, make your resume stand out.
So instead of responsible for, say, managed or led, instead of assisted with, say, collaborated on or contributed to.
Exactly. Small changes, big impact.
And of course, proofreads, proofread, proofread.
Oh, absolutely. Typos and grammar errors are a huge red flag. Have someone else proofread it too, just in case.
4 eyes are better than 2. Always good to have a fresh perspective. Okay, what about cover letters? Are those still a thing?
That's a good question. Some companies might not require them, but a well-written cover letter can definitely still be a valuable tool.
Yeah, it's your chance to, like, tell your story and make a personal connection.
Exactly. Expand on your resume, explain why you're the perfect fit.
Someone said they used their cover letter to address any, like, gaps or concerns on their resume.
That's smart. Like if you have a career change or you were unemployed for a bit, use the cover letter to explain it and highlight your transferable skills.
And don't be afraid to, like, show some personality.
Yeah, let your enthusiasm shine through.
Someone said they tailored their cover letter to the company culture, like using language and examples that resonate with the company's values.
Oh, that's good. Shows you've done your research, that you're genuinely interested.
Okay, let's talk about something that can be kind of scary, salary negotiations. It's important, but talking about money can be awkward.
It can be, but remember, you're worth it.
Someone said to research, like, industry benchmarks and salary ranges for similar positions.
Yeah, do your homework, know your worth.
And don't be afraid to ask for what you deserve.
Exactly. Be confident in your skills and the value you bring.
One person said they practiced their salary negotiation pitch with a friend.
That's a great idea. Helps you get comfortable with the conversation.
And remember, focus on the value you bring to the company, not just your own needs.
Right. Frame it in terms of your contributions, the impact you can make.
Now, let's talk about something that can be a real game changer, referrals. Having someone vouch for you can make a huge difference.
Oh yeah, referrals are gold. It shows the company that someone they trust believes in you.
Someone mentioned reaching out to their network, like former colleagues, friends, family, to see if anyone had connections at their target companies.
Makes sense. You never know who might be able to help.
And don't be afraid to ask for an introduction.
Yeah, most people are happy to help if they can.
One person said they sent personalized emails to potential referrers, highlighting their skills, experience, and why they're a good fit for the role.
That's a good approach. Gives the referrer all the info they need to recommend you.
And don't forget to follow up afterwards.
Right. Send a thank you note. Keep them updated on how things are going.
Okay, let's talk about interview questions again, specifically those behavioral ones. Those can be tricky.
They can be. Remember, they're designed to see how you've handled situations in the past. They often start with, tell me about a time when, or give me an example of.
One person suggested using the STAR method to answer those.
That's a great technique. It stands for situation, task, action, result. Helps you give a structured, concise answer that showcases your skills.
So you start by describing the situation, the context.
Then you explain the task, the challenge you faced.
Then you describe what you did, the actions you took.
And finally, you highlight the results, the outcomes.
Makes sense.
Using the STAR method keeps your answers clear and relevant.
Someone else said they practiced their answers to common behavioral questions beforehand.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel.
Now, beyond just answering questions, there's also body language to think about.
Oh yeah, body language is huge. Make eye contact, smile, sit up straight, project confidence and engagement.
And you don't fidget or cross your arms. That can make you look nervous or disinterested.
Remember, the interview is a two-way street. It's a chance for you to see if the company is a good fit for you too.
Yeah, have some questions ready to ask them about the company culture, growth opportunities, all that.
Exactly. Gather information, make an informed decision.
Someone suggested preparing a lane of questions beforehand.
Good idea. Shows you're serious about the opportunity.
Okay, even with all this preparation, job hunting can be tough on your mental health. It's important to take care of yourself throughout the process.
Absolutely. Rejection is part of the game. It's okay to feel discouraged sometimes. Just remember to celebrate your successes, big and small, and take breaks when you need them.
One person said they schedule time for self-care. like exercise, meditation, spending time with loved ones.
That's so important. Taking care of your mental and emotional well-being helps you stay resilient.
And have a good support system, friends, family, mentors, people who can encourage you.
For sure, having that support network makes a world of difference.
Now, let's talk about something that's become kind of a problem lately, ghosting, both from job seekers and employers.
Ugh. Yeah, ghosting is never fun, but it's happening more and more. From the job seeker side, maybe they get a better offer, or they just lose interest. And from the employer side, maybe they get overwhelmed with applications, or they decide to go in a different direction.
It's just, like, creates uncertainty and disappointment for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
One person said they track their application to interview ratio and interview to offer ratio.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. Helps you see where you need to improve.
Exactly. If you're getting interviews but no offers, maybe work on your interview skills. If you're not getting any responses, maybe revamp your resume.
Use the data to refine your strategy.
And speaking of beta, someone said they had more success with job openings that were, like, brand new.
Yeah, applying early gives you an edge.
They said they set up job alerts and apply for jobs that were posted within the last 24 hours.
That's being proactive, staying ahead of the game.
Okay, let's talk about celebrating successes, even the small ones.
Yeah, that's so important. Job hunting can be a long process. You got to celebrate the wins along the way.
One person kept a win journal to track their achievements, like submitting applications, landing interviews, getting positive feedback.
I love that. A visual reminder of your progress.
Someone else said they reward themselves for reaching milestones, like going out to dinner or buying themselves something nice.
Nice. Rewards keep you motivated.
And don't forget to share your successes with your support system.
Absolutely. Let them celebrate with you. Their encouragement helps a lot.
Okay, let's talk about using technology to your advantage.
Oh yeah. Technology can make your job search so much easier.
One person said they use job aggregator websites like Indeed and LinkedIn to search for jobs and set up alerts.
Yeah, those sites are great. They save you a ton of time.
Someone else talked about using social media like LinkedIn and Twitter to connect with recruiters and hiring managers.
Social media is a powerful networking tool.
And then there's AI.
Oh yeah. AI can be a game changer.
Someone used ChatGPT to generate cover letters and practice interview questions.
That's smart, using AI to save time and improve your application materials.
Now, let's talk about something that's often overlooked, self-reflection.
Yeah, self-reflection is crucial. It's about figuring out what you really want in a career.
One person said they journal about their career goals, their strengths and weaknesses, and brainstorm potential career paths.
That's a great way to get clarity.
Someone else recommended taking career assessments or personality tests.
Those can be helpful too.
And talk to people in your field, get their insights.
Informational interviews are so valuable.
Someone reached out to people they admired in their field, just to chat and learn more about their work.
Smart move. Learn from the experts.
Okay, let's talk about something that can be really tough. Handling rejection.
It's never easy, but it's part of the process.
One person said they try to reframe rejection as a learning opportunity.
That's a great mindset. See it as a chance to improve.
Someone else said they have a support system to help them through those tough times.
Yeah, having people to talk to makes a big difference.
And remember, every no brings you closer to a yes.
Keep going. Don't give up.
Okay, let's end on a positive note. Celebrating successes, even the small ones.
Absolutely. Acknowledge those wins, big or small.
Someone kept a win journal to track their accomplishments.
Love that idea.
Someone else rewarded themselves for reaching milestones.
Rewards are motivating.
And share your successes with your support network.
Let them celebrate with you. Their encouragement is so valuable.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here. Resume tips, interview strategies, networking, personal branding, all that. But the one thing that really stood out to me was be yourself.
Be authentic. That's key.
Companies want to hire real people, not robots.
Exactly. Show your personality. Let your passion shine through.
Choose a career path that aligns with your values.
Find a place where you can be yourself and do work that you love.
And it's okay to be nervous. Everyone gets nervous.
Acknowledge those nerves. Seek support from your network.
Practice mindfulness techniques. Take breaks. Engage in self-care.
Take care of yourself. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
You've got this. Believe in yourself. Stay positive. Keep going.
The right opportunities out there waiting for you.
We've covered like a lot of the practical stuff, right? Resumes, interviews, all that. But we haven't really talked about like the mental side of job hunting. Because it can be really tough, you know, emotionally draining.
Oh, for sure. One person called it a confidence roller coaster. And I think that's so true. Like 1 minute you're feeling great, you get an interview, you're excited, then you wait and you don't hear anything and you start doubting yourself.
Yeah, exactly. A few people mentioned that, like feeling not good enough, even when they had a good resume. Almost like imposter syndrome, but specifically about job searching.
Yeah, that's super common. One person said they get an interview request and be thrilled, but then immediately think, oh, they're going to realize I'm not actually that experienced. They'll see right through me. That kind of thinking can really sabotage you before you even start.
So how do you deal with that? Did any of the sources have advice for overcoming that feeling?
One person had this really cool tactic. They kept a win journal, but not just for big things like getting an interview. Every time they customize a cover letter or researched a company, even just applying for a job that felt like a reach, they wrote it down.
So it's like recognizing all the little victories, all the effort you're putting in to remind yourself that you are doing things right.
Exactly. It shifts your focus from external validation, which you can't control, to recognizing your own actions, your own agency in the process. Another person did something similar. They started each day by listing 3 things they were good at. Didn't even have to be job-related, just anything to remind themselves they had value.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
I love that. It's so easy to get caught up in what you're lacking. You forget about all your strengths.
Totally. And another thing that came up a lot was the importance of support systems, family, friends, even online communities for job seekers. Having people who understand what you're going through, who can celebrate the wins with you and, be there for you during the tough times, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it helps you feel less alone in the whole process. Speaking of the process, one person had this interesting perspective on the whole dream job thing. They said, instead of fixating on one specific role, think of it as finding the right career ecosystem.
A career ecosystem. That's interesting. What do they mean by that?
They said, instead of obsessing over job titles or specific companies, focus on the bigger picture, what skills do you want to use? What kind of impact do you want to make? Even just what kind of work environment suits you best?
So being open to possibilities, recognizing that your dream job might not be one specific thing. It might evolve over time as you do.
Exactly. And by focusing on that broader ecosystem, you might discover opportunities you hadn't even considered before.
That actually ties into something we talked about earlier about continuous learning and development, like taking online courses, going to workshops, even volunteering, to gain new skills and experiences that fit into that career ecosystem you're building.
Right. It's about being proactive, constantly investing in yourself, even when you're not actively applying for jobs. It keeps your skills sharp, expands your network, and shows that you're committed to growth.
It's a shift from job hunting to career building.
I like that. Career building. Okay, so if we were to sum up all these insights, what would you say are the most important things to remember during a job search?
Well, I think first and foremost, personalize everything. Tailor your resume, cover letter, everything to each specific company and role you're applying for. Show them you've done your research, that you understand what they need.
Personalization, got it.
Second, embrace technology. Use those AI tools to optimize your resume, practice for interviews, find new opportunities. But remember, AI is a tool. It's not a replacement for your own judgment and creativity.
Got it. Use AI wisely.
Third, build genuine connections. Networking is about relationships, not just transactions. Be a giver, not just a taker. Offer help. Be supportive.
Build relationships. Check.
And finally, and this is so important, take care of yourself. Job searching can be stressful, so make sure you're prioritizing self-care. Celebrate your successes. Lean on your support system when you need to.
Self-care. Crucial.
Remember, you have a lot to offer. Believe in yourself, stay persistent, and keep putting yourself out there. The right opportunity is out there for you.
So there you have it, your deep dive into the world of job searching, packed with insights from all those sources you sent. Now it's time to take action. What resonated with you most? What are you going to try first? Good luck on your journey. We're rooting for you.